Welcome to Adventures of a Wallflower with JD Morgan. I am your host, JD Morgan. We are now on to episode 5, Essence of Yearning, and I wanted to expand a bit on my last episode, which reflects on, it's called the Monologue of a Broken Heart, and about relationships and yearning and longing as well. In this first bit will take me back to 2012, and in this first bit will take us back to 2012, maybe a bit of 2011, somewhere around that period where I would have had a person of interest. And this was basically around the ending of university, and that person was working. I was still finishing up my semester, and we would have had a meet where basically she came to let me know that within the past year that we haven't been around each other, that there was other people that were showing interest in her, but nothing happened. And I assumed not at that time, but right afterwards she was just telling me she was quite open to moving forward. But somehow, some way, I did not read that situation well. I made quite a stupid remark because that was the end of university. And my worry at the time also was like, I would have to go back Jamaica at that time. Even if I was to come back Trinidad, I still had to leave the country for a bit. And it never occurred to me to let this person know, hey, this is what I'm worried about. Are you willing to wait? Could we do a long distance thing until I reach back? I mean, I did recover after that meeting because I really said some stupid things that I didn't even know. But it just wasn't the same because I didn't really fully trust myself to say it to her and have her make the decision to wait or not. So it seemed like I rejected myself before I was even rejected, even though I wasn't rejected at that time. But I've realized as of late, much clearer that a lot of things, especially in the past, was because of my anxiety. I really had major problems with anxiety. So even just to utter a word, I would lose my breath and start shaking at times. Especially at times when it's something that mattered so much to me. It was like I lose all my senses. So, right. So I'm sending out this apology to her, even though I know most likely she would not be listening to this podcast. But you never know. Someone that she knows might be. So I'm sorry if I ever felt like I was misleading you. I was not. I was just too caught up in my own feelings, the strong feelings I had for you, that I didn't realize, I was sabotaging myself and not giving you the chance to make your own decision based on what I was going through and what I felt for you. And this also serves as an apology to friends and family as well, because I have not been reaching out as I would have liked. I know at the time, I am an introvert, but still, a lot of things cannot be excused like that. And I've recently learned a few things about myself, and that explains a lot of things that happened in the past and the way they happened. So right now I'm trying my best to get past them and be a better person, a better friend, and hopefully a lover to someone, a better family member as well, a better son, a better brother. So this episode title was derived from a poem I completed yesterday, The Essence of Yearning. I could not read your lips, but I was so fond of your eyes. I heard your voice and remembered your smell. I was always a distance too far, but I felt your every touch. And that was a short and sweet poem. So I've been experimenting with AI, and from time to time I would type the poems that I write into a prompt and see what its interpretation of that poem is. Let me read one for you of this. This beautifully crafted piece captures the essence of deep connection and longing, blending sensory experiences to convey emotion. The juxtaposition of not being able to read lips, yet being fond of someone's eyes, speaks to a powerful nonverbal connection. Hearing a voice and recalling a scent evokes a nostalgia that is both intimate and evocative. The idea of being a distance too far, while still feeling every touch, suggests a profound bond that transcends physical separation, illustrating the complexity and depth of human relationships. Such imagery invites readers to reflect on their own connections and the myriad ways in which we perceive and experience love. I do find that this description or explanation is rather on point and is exactly what I meant to interpret. Of course, everybody has their own perspective on things, and that is completely right. That is how I meant to write poems, that things are supposed to be interpreted as how you see them, how I see them, and how others see them. So there's no really right interpretation apart from what you think. I am now going to reflect on the five love languages and how they take shape in my life. So just to repeat, the five love languages are quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. It is said that other people do believe that there's more love languages, but I believe the five cover all of them and probably encapsulate any additional ones. And they're presented in different ways based on our personalities at the end of the day. So I actually took the love languages test like a few years ago. Every year I would redo it just to see how much change there has been in my life. So at the top for me, it's quality time. That's like 33%. And words of affirmation, 23%. Physical touch, 20%. Acts of service, 13%. Receiving gifts, 10%. The quality time is no surprise for me here. I am indeed an introvert and do like small intimate gatherings. Most times I like gatherings that are quiet. Not necessarily, we do not need to talk. Just like 12 people in my presence that I fancy, that I consider important to myself. And if you could relate to that. And words of affirmation, not so much. I think with me though, if the more quality time we have, especially somebody that's of romantic interest, my physical touch would increase. But I do know that I tend to give acts of service to people that I like. So I'd love to do everything and anything for the people that I care about. And I'll say yes to everything as soon as they ask. But what I've realized though is that my quality time, or rather the fact that I just like to be in other people's presence without even saying anything. And I also love to be isolated as well. So it does create that kind of conflict of interest, so to speak. I do tend to miss cues when to put forth physical touch to others because I'm a big fan of the personal space. So I, for instance, I might very much like be enamored with you, but I'll be at a distance. I might even be right up close to you, but I wouldn't touch you. But it doesn't mean that I do not like you. It's just that I guess I don't really like physical touch that much. Not that I wouldn't want to appreciate someone who has that type of language. I guess you have to be a bit more direct and probably put my mind to it, like nudge me, because at the end, my mind tends to go all over the place. So sometimes I need to like snap back to reality and say, yes, you can do that. Give me permission. You have to be straightforward. I do like a bit of straightforwardness. But I guess what I want to gather from this little bit is that all of us are capable of love. And we could love pretty much, love could work with anybody, to be honest. It's a matter of being willing to find out what the other person likes and how they want to be treated, and vice versa. It's never about what you can get out from the person, but what you can give. And that's what I've observed in healthy relationships. It's hardly about the individual, but about the partners in that relationship. So I, the man, would be thinking about what I could do for the woman, and the woman would be thinking about what she'll do for me, not about what she can get from me. And I believe that's why a lot of relationships fail, and a lot of reason why people are getting played left, right, and center. I don't believe in playing games. I'd like to think of relationship more of a dance where there's certain times where people have to lead and then someone else has to follow. So you make a step, then I make a step, and that's how it should go. You could say it's like salsa or tango. Fun fact, I actually used to do dancing back in preparatory school. I actually loved it. It was ballroom dancing, entered competitions. Yes, me, quiet person. I was on stage doing a few things. Unfortunately, didn't get to do it as much because we had a kind of terrible teacher. She would forget when we had competitions and it'd all be last minute. So we didn't get to prepare as much, but I did enjoy that time. I wish I had gotten to pursue it a bit more, but those were lovely times. I am now going to read a piece from one of my colleagues, and I would consider him a friend now, Michael Magoo, from his book Tears. Dystopia. Dystopia. Deprivation, oppression, terror, dystopia. Drunken madness, dystopia. Deepening arrow, dystopia. My sanity derailed like a mad train off the rails, dystopia. Characterized by human misery, dystopia. Darkness's claws grabbing me, dystopia. Where is the light? Dystopia. Descending, declining, devolization, deteriorating at a fast rate, dystopia, dystopia, dystopia. You can find them on Instagram at MEGZ_poet, at Megs_poet. In the end, we can all learn a thing or two from each other. So thank you for sharing. And that's the end of this episode. Thanks to you all for tuning in this week, and I hope to see you next week on another episode of Adventures of a Wallflower with myself, JD Morgan. Thank you. Be sure to get your copy of The Silent Love, a collection of thoughts and imagery conveyed through words, at Balboa Press Bookstore, Amazon, Apple Book, Barnes & Noble, Everand, and other major online bookstores worldwide. Additionally, my book is available ebook format, paperbook, and hardcover. And for those located in Trinidad and Tobago, the paperback is available at Scribbles and Quills in Chaguanas and the Barrow Bookstore in Couva. And for my other socials, you can check out my website at www.jd-morgan.com and Instagram page with handle j.d.morgan _writes. As well as on Facebook, you could search for the profile j.d.morgan. And I am also on TikTok as j.d.morgan_writes. And if you've read my book, kindly go to Goodreads and search for my author name or the book itself and give a review, a very honest review. Thank you.